Welcome to my Nuzlocke playthrough of Pokemon Shield. Difficulty in Pokemon has never been too high, so we've had to add our own rules and restrictions. How hard we make the game, and what aspects we change are up to the individual. I will not be using items in trainer battles, and setting the battle style to set, so I don't have the ability to swap freely after knocking out a trainer's Pokemon. I've done a playthrough with Sobble and Scorbunny, and while I would like to just pick Grookey, I always randomize my starters somehow. I'm at the whim of the spinner. Wheel of Destiny, turn, turn, turn. Show us the starter you discern. Scorbunny. I nicknamed the Scorbunny Kickers and jumped into her first of many fights against Hop. Gift Pokemon outside of the starter. We use this tokens in order to catch a new Pokemon on a route that's already had a Pokemon caught. Nuzlocks don't actually start until you have access to Pokeballs, but Hop is a pushover anyways and is easily dispatched of. Getting a female Scorbunny, a 1 in 8 chance, is fairly lucky. The basic rules of a Nuzlocke require you to name every Pokemon you catch, only catch one Pokemon per route, and if a Pokemon faints, they die and you have to release them, as tragic as that may seem. Previously you caught the first Pokemon encountered on a route, however with overworld encounters, sometimes several Pokemon are present at the same time, and not all Pokemon show up in the overworld that are available on the route. I chose to instead pick the first brilliant sparkling Pokemon I find, or a random exclamation mark encounter. To do this, however, you have to KO one of each overworld Pokemon so they can be brilliant. If after a few minutes of hunting I don't find one, I go after an exclamation mark encounter. The first 5 Pokeballs you get come from talking to your mom, thus starting the Nuzlocke. Catching a Pokemon Route 1 with those starter balls skips the later catching tutorial. A brilliant Wooloo caught my eye after about a minute. Wooloo has become one of the more iconic Pokemon of the Galar region. Wooloo is actually Hop's first partner Pokemon in the anime. Wooloo is adorable and even attacks with rolling animations. According to the Pokedex, its curly fleece is such an effective cushion that this Pokemon could fall off a cliff and stand right back up at the bottom, unharmed. After a friendly repartee between Kickers and Wooloo, they become friends and thus Cotton joins the party, the fluffy ball of wool. Cotton was lucky to have the Fluffy ability, which reduces damage from contact moves by 50%, but adds a weakness to the Fire type. A very powerful ability compared to Wooloo's other abilities, Run Away, which doesn't help in battle. Cotton is able to learn an early TM of Payback, which combined with her durability should help Cotton deal damage for the time being. Route 2 has access to Choodle, Rookity, Nickit, Zigzagoon, Yamper, Squovet on the overworld, and Purloin, Blipbug, Hoothoot, Magikarp, Aerocuda, and Lotad since I'm on Shield as random encounters. Since none of the overworld Pokemon showed up as brilliant after a few minutes, I ran into an exclamation mark encounter. Hoothoot has a 5% encounter rate. I've had Hoothoot and Noctowl in my Silver Nuzlocke before, and was glad to catch a flying type with strong special defense. Hoothoot wasn't quite sure he wanted to be friends, but gave in when I explained the workings of the Pokeball. Doctor Who was quite interested in the dimensional transcendental properties, so he snuggled in to explore the machinations. Having assembled my team so far, it was time to show Hop he wasn't dealing with his average rival anymore. Hop's Wooloo does not have the Fluffy ability, and thus Cotton was able to make short work of his team, giving me access to the wild area. The wild area is comprised of 18 different areas, each with different Pokemon. Instead of having 18 different encounters across the entire wild area, which I felt was too much, I would have 6 total, 2 per mandatory visit, and 2 after the 8th gym. My first encounter was accidental. As I was exploring, I failed to avoid a random encounter. As Master Oogway would put it, there are no accidents. So I restrained Kickers from enjoying a delicious treat as I convinced Vanillite to join us. With the promise of sprinkles, Dairy King joins the party ready to astonish the competition. Before starting the Nuzlocke, I had set the day forward so I did not know the wild area's weather, since that heavily influenced the Pokemon that would appear inside the wild area. A large number of areas were snowing, so it was no surprise when a second ice type was the first to glow brilliantly. Snover's 4 times weakness to fire was a liability, and it would likely get Snover killed eventually. Snover would have a hard time ahead. I tried to console poor Snover, but he insisted he was fireproof, so I offered him a ball and a place on the journey. The wild area is of course home to powerful Dynamax caves to explore with TRs for moves and experience candies. I had chosen to allow using the TRs and candy, but only doing offline caves and only to help even off the team's levels. Doctor Who was particularly interested in the phenomena, so much so he didn't see the giant Machop's attack until it was too late. Boba Fett offered no counter to his claim he shouldn't be doing max raids without an attacking move, as we mourned over the loss. Doctor Who was taken from us too soon, but maybe, someday he will return to us. Until then, in the arms of Arceus, fly away from here, from this dark, cold box storage, and the endlessness that you fear. Kickers was galvanized. Having experienced loss, her naive self grew ready to lead. Part of my Nuzlocke challenge was to take down a strong Pokemon in the wild area each time we are forced to go to the wild area. The Pokemon also had to be different each time. Onix is the first strong Pokemon you encounter, and seemed like a good first challenge. Cotton led the charge, using Growl to hopefully make the damage manageable for my Pokemon to get some attacks in. Cotton barely survived, thanks to leftovers, which I had picked up while exploring. I was scared to swap any Pokemon into a rock move, as every Pokemon except Cotton was weak to a rock move. Dairy King was my first swap in, and was hit by a Screech. I was a bit worried, but it was possible the AI used Dragon's Breath or Screech again. Dairy King's nimble dodge on an attack that meant certain death made my heart jump. I would need to swap. Fireproof the Snorunt was ready for an action and tanked the first rock throw. Hail Chip had reduced Onix's health steadily, and Fireproof had Ice Shard to finish Onix off. A collective sigh of relief was felt as the first challenge of the lock was completed. Now we would embark on the Pokemon Gym Challenge. I had to do my hair before the big day though. Route 3 has Tyrogue, Zigzagoon, Stunky, Trubbish, Gossifleur, Roly-Coly, and Growlithe on Shield as overruled encounters. Random encounters could be Machop, Clink, Pancham, Mudbray, Rookity, and a 1% Sizzlipede. After a short time, I found a brilliant zigzagging Zigzagoon, who just seemed excited to meet me. The Galar form of Zigzagoon, according to the Pokedex, is thought to be the oldest form of Zigzagoon. It moves in zigzags and wreaks havoc upon its surroundings. The rambunctious rascal crashed into his Pokeball, getting caught. Crash was jolly and would always get the parting shot in any conversation. Bede blocked our way through the Galar mine, which wouldn't do. Crash tried his best but had to part, so Cotton knew no mercy to Bede as payback hurt his psychic troop. Bede would find he had lost in curse. Oh poop. With no random encounters in the Galar mine, I would have to find a brilliant Pokemon. After a good long while, a pair of Drillburs appeared. One glowed brightly, so I tiptoed and said hi. For some reason, Drillbur sought a blue foe, so a great ball I threw and inside he flew. Drillman, he proclaimed, is ready for battle. I'll put you in a submission one day and Dr. Wily will be proud. Brilliant Pokemon are guaranteed to have one egg move, like Submission, and 2 perfect IVs. Great Pokemon that stand above the rest. Route 4 is a very large area. I spotted an Electrike fairly quickly, but he was on the other side of a wall. I had to rush past several other Pokemon and bushes to get to see if Electrike's bark was worse than their bite. Electrike fought proudly, with electricity giving Fireproof a taste of why not to grow near power lines. I calmed down Electrike with a game of fetch and chucked a Pokeball for him to retrieve, but he went inside and came with me. I took a break to explore the town before the first gym and get a picture pretending to be a shiny Scrovet. I had misjudged how much experience there was between the wild area and the first gym, so I ended up being slightly over-leveled. Milo didn't worry me much anyways, since I had started with kickers of fire type, and caught Fireproof and Dairy King, who were ice types. Dynamax was restricted to only against his ace, Gossifleur. shaking hands with Milo, the roar of the crowd lifted my team's spirits as we claimed our first piece of glory. Toxel was a gift Pokemon on Route 5 from the daycare, which would be treated as a token letting me catch a Pokemon on a route I had already caught a Pokemon previously on. After getting the bike, I searched for a brilliant Pokemon. I found a Stuffle trying to find some berries in the grass and carefully approached, fearful for my life. Stuffle was simply hungry, and smelling the berries in my bags, happily joined up. Barrington and Cotton didn't get along, so I put Barrington in timeout for now in the box. Hop still hadn't figured out how to train Pokemon, and was toppled, but at least Cotton was tired of being compared to Hop's Wooloo and doubled his wool power, turning into Dubwool. Crash, not wanting to feel left behind, followed suit and evolved as well into Linoon. The water gym was up next, and I was worried. I had Watto the Electrike and Fireproof the Snorunt, who would come, and Crash could pivot with Parting Shot, but Nessa was dangerous. Watto was hit by Water Pulse and instantly confused. I judged that if Watto hit himself in confusion and took another Water Pulse, he would faint, so I swapped him with Dairy King. Dairy King also became instantly confused from Water Pulse. Curse you, 20% confusion! Dairy King thought of Dairy Queen, and was, through sheer force of will, able to send Goldeen back to cold storage. Cotton took the slap of a fish, and with her new wool, while grazing some leftovers, barely noticed. Cotton held firm, headbutting and kicking Aerocuda into a can. Nessa cackled, and she sent out Dreadnought. The snapping turtle looked hungry. Cotton grew 5 stories tall to fight the turtle kaiju. Water splashed all around the stadium as Cotton focused her attacks one after another. Nessa and Dreadnought were not done yet. A powerful torrent of water from Dreadnought aimed at Cotton exploded, drenching everyone in the stadium. When all the commotion ended, Cotton stood over Dreadnought. Who knew that a snapping turtle was a bighorn sheep's natural prey? Celebration erupted, and I shook Nessa's hand. One more step up the ladder. 2 gyms down, 6 to go. What will happen next time?